Hey guys, this is Kishore. I'm starting this YouTube channel. Since so a bit about me that since last 5 years I'm working as a front-end developer, senior front-end developer in Node technologies, and since long day I'm working as a developer, and I'm taking help of the community every day, each and every day, and each and every moment. And I'm just I want to contribute to the community also. So I have taken a lot of support or a lot of help from Stack Overflow or Google or YouTube. So they are basically contributing to me, and I also now want to contribute to them who are really in need of help. And yeah, so basically I'll create a lot of videos for especially for beginners or intermediate developers who are just starting their career as a web developer, front end developer especially. And yeah yeah, so in future you'll see lot of great stuffs, lot of stuffs are in front end, especially. So right now I'm working as a senior front-end developer, and I'm working on technologies like React Native, Angular, and obviously JavaScript and everywhere, and HTML, CSS. So those things I'm right now working on, and yeah. Yeah, so that's it, a little bit about me. And yeah, so obviously that I'm just starting this YouTube channel, and I don't have any prior experience on that. So in that case, I'll do a lot of mistakes, because yeah, I am not that much of social kind of person, or I'm not that much of talkative person, so I can't express my feelings, or I can't express what I'm trying to say sometime. So just please be with me, please cooperate with me, and then at the end of this every video you'll get a lot of knowledge, I hope. And yeah, so that's it. I'll not waste your time a lot to introduce myself. I'll just start with the video, start with the topics, today's topics. So I've decided today's topics should be. I mean, I've just decided that the today's topic should be difference between late variable and constant in JavaScript. So I am basically a JavaScript guy. I build everything in JavaScript. Try to build and try to build everything is logically. Yeah. So today's topic I've decided to make something on difference between variable, late, and constant. So first, before knowing what is the difference, first know what is the. I mean, first let's see what is the definition of each and every topic. Like what is the definition of var, late, and constant. So let's start with variable. What is variable? So in not only in JavaScript, in every programming language, variable means to store some kind of value. It can be primitive types, it can be object, or it can be arrays. Or yeah, so primitive type like string, numbers, boolean, null, undefined, or symbols. So this kind of values, this type of values, or arrays object we can store in a variable. So that is the variable. And so the late and constant are both are same. I mean, late, constant, var, three things are totally same. I mean, they naturally, I mean, does I mean, store the value. So in that point of view, there is no difference. But yeah, obviously there are a lot of differences. Like, I mean, I'll come to that point, that what are the differences. So there are a lot of differences, like yeah. So let's get into the specifications of each and every topics, like what is the specification, or what is the characteristics of variable. Okay, so let's start with the variable. What is the characteristics, what is the features, or what is the specifications? So yeah, so variable is there before ES6 was introduced. So as you know, that I mean, I hope you know that There is a JavaScript, there is a versions in JavaScript which is ES6 or ES5 or ES7, those kind of things. So ES means ECMAScript. So ECMAScript 6, ECMAScript script 5. So those things are there, and variable was introduced when JavaScript language was built. That time only variable was there, but for the late and constant, the late and constant came in just ES6 only. It was not there in the earlier versions. So so this is the one difference between late, var and constant. So we'll go to the next. Next is the variable declaration is hoisted. So variable declaration means if we declare a variable, so first, I mean, I hope you know what is a variable, what is how to declare a variable in JavaScript, because this video is not for I mean totally beginner in JavaScript. It's kind of intermediate, you can say, but you have to have knowledge on how to declare a variable, how to assign a value in variable. Those things you have to know. Yeah, so what is I mean variable hoisted? So what is hoisted? First, if I can't cover hoist part, I mean hoisting part in this video, because that's a totally another topic, and that can be a total mm, 10 or 20 minutes video on that topic. So that topic I can't cover in this video, but I'll give you one rough idea what is hoisting. So hoisting means, let's say we are calling one variable, or we are trying to print one variable, but that variable is declared after calling that variable. So in that case, what JavaScript engine does, JavaScript engine calls that or hoists that variable to the top of that scope. So in that case, that variable always return undefined. So in that yeah, so variable always return undefined. So we can see some example, let's say I'm just I'm just declaring one variable where my var and some value. Okay, then I'm just consoling or printing this my var. So what it should return? It should second. It should print the value. I think. I mean, it should print the value, and it will print the value. Then what we will do? We'll just declare the variable after printing after calling the variable. So then let's see what is happening. So you're getting undefined. So yeah, that's cool, because we are not getting any error, because we generally think that there should be error because the variable is not declared, or the variable value is also not there, but we are trying to print, or we are trying to call that variable. So it should, in my general mind, in my common sense, that it should return an error, but it is not returning an error. So instead of this, it is giving undefined. So this is called hoisting. Yeah. So in behind the scene, what JavaScript does, JavaScript just hoist this variable to the top of the scope. The top of the scope means the global scope. I mean, here the top of the scope means global scope. So JavaScript does this. So in that case, there is no value in that variable assigned. There is no value normally. So that's the reason it's giving undefined, because the variable is defined, but there is no value uh, assigned in that variable. So that is called hoisting. So that can be a totally different topic, and that can be a totally different video on that topic. So I'm not going to tell you whole the things of hoistings, but this is the very minimal understanding of hoisting. So variable is hoisting, variable declaration is hoisting, but variable value initialization is not hoisted. So what is that means? That means, let's say I'm declaring one, I'm just trying to call a variable console.log. my var. Okay, then I'm declaring a variable my var. Okay, it should return undefined because the value is not there. It should return undefined. The hoisting method is working. So then what we will do, we'll assign some value, and what we'll do, we'll declare this. I'll do. So what is that means? This code is means that this code means that I'm just declaring one variable, and after that I'm just calling that variable, and then I'm assigning the value. So in that case, what it should return, it should return undefined because the value is not there declared in the top, and when we have uh, declared the variable. So in this code we understand that the variable declaration. Then that means this part declaration is hoisted, but the value initialization is not hoisted. So variable declaration is hoisted, but the variable value initialization is not hoisted. So variable value uh, initialization is not hoisted. Why we are saying? Because this console.log is not returning any kind of value, because the value is assigned, but it's not assigned. It's not returning any value. So in that case, we are very sure that the declaration is hoisted, but the assigning part is not hoisted, or the initialization is not hoisted. So this is the thing. This is the first difference, or first main difference we can say between variable, late, and constant. So let's go to the next difference between var, late, and constant. So the next can be the variable is globally scoped. The variable is globally scoped and function scoped. So what does that means? So there are a lot of there are various kind of scope in JavaScript, like block scoped, or function scoped, or global scope. So global scope means scope means the where everything is there, or the or all the code, or the all the JavaScript related code is there, that called global hosting, and global scope. And what is block level scope? Block level scope means I mean, let's say we are any kind of conditional scope, or any kind of inside any kind of bracket. So whenever you're starting one bracket, that their block scope start and I mean, let's say we are doing a if else, or we are trying to do a switch case. We are trying to write a switch case. So in that case, that block scope enables. And when let's say I've written a function. So inside that function, whatever code I'll write, so that will be inside functional scope. So that is the scope. And there are other various kind of scope, like lexical scope is there. So I'm not going to cover that scope also. Scope also is a huge part of JavaScript. So let's just understand what is the global scope, and why variable is global scoped and functional scope. So let's write one variable, declare one variable, like where my var equal to this some value, and print that value. So it is normally printing the value. Now what we will do to understand the global scope, so I hope you know that window is the parent object of the browser. So that means window is the global object of the browser. So let's say you have an application, you have a JavaScript application, and in that application there are a lot of multiple JavaScript files. So in that JavaScript files you can access that window object from anywhere of the application. So that is the main funda of global scope or window object. So if we are declaring a variable, and that variable will be the part of window object. So let's see what it means. So I'm just printing window. Okay, so let's search the myWhere. See, there is a myWhere property created inside window object. So that is kind of I mean, when whatever variable we will declare, that will be part of global scope. So this is we are talking about global scope. But let's say we are trying to declare a variable inside the function. So in that case, what will happen? So let's declare one variable in the global scope. Variable global var equal to var. Okay, now we will write one function, we will declare one function, my function, and we will declare one variable uh, let's say my name. What is my name? My name is a variable, and it has a scope of functional scope. So I'll declare one variable value, let's say Kishore, and we'll just print that variable here. Now what we will do, we'll print global var, and we will print my name also. Let's see what will happen. So what we see that first of all, this my function is not invoked, or this is not called. So I'm just calling that function. Yeah, so what is happening? First we are declaring one variable, then we have called one, we have declared one function, and then we have called that function. So that's the reason this my name is printing first. Okay, now what is happening? I'm printing this global variable, this variable here. Okay, then what is happening? It's printing global variable. But whenever you're trying to print this my name, what is inside the function, my name variable, what is inside the function, so that is returning error, because this variable is function scoped, means we can access this variable only inside this function. Otherwise we outside this function we can't access this variable. So that is the little bit about functional scope, and variable is functional scoped and global scoped. Okay, now we'll go to the next specification of variable. So variable can be changed, or I mean updated, or redeclared. I mean variable can be redeclared. So what does that means? Let's see some example. So example is, let's say I'm declaring one variable, my var, and I'm assigning one value, some value. Okay, now I'm just printing this my var. So what it will do, it will just print the some value. That's fine, that's totally cool. Now I'll update this variable value, my var equal to updated value. I'll print this my var. Let's refresh. See, there is some value, means this line, line number 2, and then updated value. So the value is changed now. Now what we will do, we'll redeclare the variable. Redeclare means again var my var equal to redeclare variable. Okay, now we'll print this my var again. Yeah, see, this redeclare variable is there and there is no error, nothing, only the variable can be redeclared. So that means the variable can be redeclared, variable can be updated also, so there is no error in that case. Now the I mean I have decided that we'll just style this down for specification of mm, a variable, and there are a lot of specification, there are a lot of specialty of a variable, but I'm not going to we are not going to discuss on that. Let's see the late what does the late variable do. So so the specification about late, the first point would be late is so late is introduced in the ES6. So in before ES6 there was variable, and we all using the variable for storing some kind of value. But in ES6 what JavaScript has introduced, it has introduced late and constant, which is globally scoped, and which I'll not go to globally scoped or block scoped or what. I'll just say that which has some their own specifications. So let's just start with late. So late is introduced in the ES6 ES6 version of the JavaScript, ECMAScript 6 version of JavaScript. Then late is block scoped. So what is that means? Uh, so that means let's say we are just uh, we are we are doing a if else. Okay, so the sentence is, I mean that specification is late is block scoped. So block scoped means if there is a any kind of condition, any kind of logic is there in JavaScript that defines block scope. So whatever inside a curly braces, that is called block scope. So let's say we have now declared, we have now written a conditional expression, so that is if true, and it will always return some value if true. So it will always return because true is the, I mean if true, then console log true. So what is doing, it's just printing one value. Let declare one variable which is type of late my name equal to Kishore. Then I'll print this variable my name. See, it is giving an error. The error is uncaught reference error, my name is not defined. So what it's saying, that my name variable is not yet defined, and we are trying to console or trying to print that variable. So if I change it to var, what it does, it it normally just print the value of that variable, because uh, variable is not block scoped, but late is block scoped totally. So that's the reason it's printing, it's not returning any value, and it's just returning error. Now what we'll do, yeah, so that defines that late is totally block scoped. Now the next point is late is not hoisted. So what is that means? So I hope you have understood the hoisting. I mean, understood means you got the point. What is hoisting? So you have to know. I mean, you have to know in-depth knowledge. You have to have in-depth knowledge of hoisting, because it's a very important part of JavaScript. And in one video, hoisting, lateware, constant difference, those things can be I mean discussed. So you can just see other videos or other topics, other blogs on what is hoisting. I mean, you have to know, you have to have a good knowledge on hoisting in JavaScript. So so in that case, late is not hoisted. So that means late declaration and initialization is not hoisted. So what is that means? That means I'm just printing one my name. Okay, is a variable we assume, so it's not defined, it's not declared, it's not the value initialized, value is not initialized. I've just printed. Now what I'll do, I'll just declare that variable my name equal to Kishore. So in variable case, what we saw that it returned one undefined, because the variable declaration is hoisted. Now, yeah, now see, it's giving an error that uncaught reference error cannot access my name before initialization. So that means variable, I mean late variable declaration, I mean this part, and initialization, this part is not hoisted. Yeah, so this is the one of the major difference between late and where. uh, so where declaration is hoisted, variable declaration is hoisted, but late declaration is not hoisted, or initialization also is not hoisted. So the declaration part is not also hoisted. We'll see one example of that. So I have declared one variable, and then what I'll do, I'll assign a value on that. So undefined. Okay, so it's giving undefined because the declaration part and the initialization part, nothing is hoisted in for the purpose of late. Okay, now we'll see that late value can be, I mean value can be updated, but late can't be redeclared. So we'll see some example. So example is let my name equal to Kishore. Okay, now I'll console this my name. So it will normally print the Kishore, print name of that variable, that value of that variable. Now what we'll do, my name, I'll update this value of that late variable, my name Rahul. Okay, I'll console my name. Okay, see, this Kishore is there, then Rahul, because in on the line 4 I have changed the my name value to Rahul. Now what we'll do, I'll redeclare that late variable like my name Vikas. Now what we will do, we will print that my name. See, there is a error, uncaught syntax error. Identifier my name has already been declared. So in variable case, we saw that this variable can be redeclared, can be updated, but for the late case, the value can be updated, but the late variable can't be redeclared. So that is one of the major difference between late and var. Now the late is covered. Now we'll go to constant part. So constant also has introduced in S6. Before S6, constant was not there. So what we'll do, so I'll declare one constant variable. Now the next specification of constant is constant also is block scoped. That means same like late. So if true, constant my constant. So say just best practice that if you're declaring one constant variable, just always use all uppercase in the name of that constant, as it say it's just a naming convention of constant. Okay, now I'll assign some value in that. JC is awesome. Okay, now I'll print that constant value. So it's giving an error that my constant is not defined. So same like late, my constant is also, constant variables are also block level scoped. It's not global scoped, it's block level scoped. So there is a major difference between var and constant. Now the third specification of constant is one second. Yeah, so constant is also not hoisted. The same like late, constant is not hoisted. Declaration, initialization both are not hoisted. So let's see some example. I'll console constant. See, it's also giving an error that cannot access my constant before initialization because the constant is not hoisted. Now what yeah, so this is the major difference between constant variable, that variable is hoisted, variable declaration is hoisted, not initialization, but constant declaration and initialization both are not hoisted. Now let's see the fourth specification of constant, that is constant variable is you can't update constant variable value, or you can't redeclare constant variable value. So let's see some example. Constant my constant, what we will do, we'll just console this my constant. See, it's just normally printing JC is awesome, the value of that constant. Now we'll try to update that value. Yeah, see, it's printing the value here in the line of 2. uh, uh, that JS is awesome, but whenever we are trying to update that value, it's returning an error that assignment to constant variable. I mean uncaught type error, assignment to constant variable. That means you can't update the value of constant variable. Now we'll redeclare that constant variable. Yeah, so identify my constant has already been declared. So what it is saying, that my constant is already declared, so in that case you can't update the value. But the trick part is constant is constant I mean primitive types value. If you're assigning primitive types of values in constant, in that case you can't update that value. But if it's a array or object, in that case you can update that value. So let's see some example. My obj, that is name Kishore, and uh, age 25. Okay, now what we will do, my object dot name. Okay, now what we will do, my object dot name equal to because. Yeah, see, the value is changing. So what is that means, the if we are assigning a object, or if we are assigning a array in constant which is not primitive types, so in that case we can change that object properties values. So yeah, so to sum up everything, sum up this differences between late var and constant. So the variable was introduced before year 6. It was introduced whenever JavaScript language was built, but the late and constant was introduced in year 6. And variable is globally scoped, function scoped, but late and constant is totally locally scoped, not globally scoped. Then the the hosting part is variable is declaration is hoisted, but initialization is not hoisted. But the constant and late is not hoisted. Declaration, initialization, nothing is hoisted. And the other thing is variable. Yeah, variable value can be changed. Variable can be redeclared, but for the for but value can be changed, but late variable can't be redeclared. And in point of constant value and constant value can be updated, constant can be redeclared. And but if you're assigning a value like object inside constant, So in that case we can change properties of that object, of that constant object. So that is the pretty much differences between late, fair and constant, though there are a lot of other differences which I have not pointed out in this video. So in future I'll again plan to make a video on that topic, and I'll explain each and every in-depth knowledge in-depth topics on that. So so yeah, that is my plan in the future. So now I hope you have learned something new, and you have understood what I am trying to say, what I have tried to explain. So feel free to ask anything about this video in the comment section, and do like and share. Thank you.